Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. That's a large handle. And the life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice, sit lights. Here we go. We're having a party. I think we're having a party. Okay, yes, my delicious babies, what's the time, Mr. Wall? So it's nearly 10 past 12 in our old afternoon, my delicious babies, on this Saturday in our old England, okay? It's rather chilly outside, tiny bit windy, a very grey sky, but it's not raining, so hopefully I can get my washing dry. Okay, my delicious babies, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously, so hopefully my lights will stay on. Okay, Martin, baby. So yes, what was I doing? So I was walking around this morning, my delicious little babies, with my beautiful, delicious little Ruby Tuesday, because my beautiful, delicious little Maisie Moo can walk south. And what did I come across, my delicious little babies? Oh, the poor little thing. A frog that very sadly had passed away, my delicious little babies. So anyway, this is what I do. See, I pick them up, or if it's a bird, or if it's a rat, or and I put them in the bag, and and I say rest in peace, and then I bring them back to my home, and then I have to put them somewhere else, my delicious little babies. But what a shame. Anyway, that's the first time on my road that in all the years I've lived here that there was a frog that's passed away. My delicious little babies, look how bright that went. Okay, my delicious little babies. Well, we could say a lot of things, couldn't we, really? We could say that, this is the saying that most alternative media use, is that it's like, very sadly, a boiling frog. Mind you, they do a lot of that in France, don't they, my delicious little babies? Yes. Okay, but yeah, very sad. Poor little thing. I just love nature and animals and creatures, great and small and little and large birdies. Anyway, so what is it that I want to say? It's just got to be quick today because I've got to go out shortly. Okay, my delicious little babies. But if you could please go on to our dear, bless, not in that way, our dear World Space Alternative Space Media, World Alternative Media and Space Odyssey. Okay, my delicious little babies, ODYSEE. Okay, my delicious little babies. Josh now, bless him, is now up to 15,000. Well, it seems to be sticking on that number, my delicious little babies, for some strange, unknown reason. It's the same with others, my delicious little babies. If you could please go on to World Alternative Media on Odyssey, okay? Now, you're looking for one of his latest videos, okay, which is only a couple of days ago, and he's talking to our dear, not in that way again, our dear Ray Verhey, who owns BitChute, okay, my delicious little babies, BITCHUTE. Okay, my delicious little babies, and well, like I said before, very sadly, we cannot see BitChute in our country, my delicious little babies, but we all know the reason why, don't we, my delicious little babies, anyway. And of course, I've got an IBM, an old-fashioned laptop, my delicious little babies. Sometimes she needs, I think, winding up, okay. And she tends to work when she wants to. She still works, but the screen's a little bit, you know what I mean? It's like you cannot see a clear screen or anything like that now then. So when my dog and Burns broke down, which happens rather frequently, my delicious little babies, for some unknown reason, okay, well, I will get her out, my little IBM, okay, but because she's so old, so I haven't got a new laptop yet, my delicious little babies. Anyway, I'm not in a rush for one. I'm just saying, okay, my delicious little babies. So, and to use these VPNs or whatever you do with them. Okay, my delicious little babies. So for everybody, please, and of course, ones can also email Ray the Hay, bless him, okay. But if you could please subscribe, to if anybody can get a BitChute in their country, if you could please subscribe to dear Josh, bless him, World Space Alternative Space Media, once again, never needed to stumble. Okay, Martin, babies. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. Okay, and bless dear Raver Hay, bless dear Josh, bless anybody who I advertise, Martin, babies. You can also find the Duran on YouTube. To do run, okay, and you can find them on locals.com. I'm pretty sure, I think that Josh is on locals.com as well, Martin babies, and I'm pretty sure that our dear little Mal and dear Rob, not in that way with anybody, I'm pretty sure they're on locals.com as well. So, Mardlichtuk babies, it's time now. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, to start shifting over. There we are. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, because, I have got this severe problem myself, okay? With BitChute, you can, upload videos, and it's a freedom of speech plus a freedom of reach. But what's happening is YouTube, and I'm pretty much sure Odyssey, there's a lot of platforms actually, Mardlichtuk babies, okay? Look what they've been doing to Substack as well, Mardlichtuk babies. So, they're really coming down on everybody, okay? But they only do that, Mardlichtuk babies, and there we are. It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense, because they're losing. There we are. They're losing the war against it, okay? Because too many now, there we are, waking up, okay? Even when they're shifting their ones from, the poxy flipping, fake flipping mainstream media, Mardlichtuk babies, onto other channels, Well, the only ones who will really listen to these or subscribe to them are, I call them, I haven't used that word for flipping forever, half-wits. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies in Egypt, you know what I mean? So some mothers do have them and some just do not learn, you say. Okay, so now we need to start shifting. There we are, over. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, please and thank you, if you can. What's really amazing, Mardlichtuk babies, okay, it's super duper, there we are, delicious to see, is how things are going now, okay, because you're really starting to see some, okay, not all, you're starting to see some of the alternative media now, okay, Mardlichtuk babies, okay. And it's amazing, there we are, how they go against one another. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? Now, something else which I'm absolutely highly delighted about, okay, like I said, this is only going to be a short video, is where, like you've got ones who would never dream in a million years, Mardlichtuk babies, that, there could be so many hoaxes. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, okay. I learnt this, there we are, years ago, okay. Many years ago, there we are, I did, okay. But who also helped myself, because I already knew before, but who also helped myself and pointing things out was Allspace's Mag Bitter Truth, next level, but he's on YouTube as well, Mardlichtuk babies, but he does have a lot of subscribers on a BitChute. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, and he may very well be on locals.com as well. So there's so many. We got our dear Mel and Rob, the Mel Care shirt. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies. So they're on BitChute, they're on their own channel, they're on Rumble, they're on locals.com. There's so many, there we are, different channels to look at. You can also find the Conscience Resistance, okay, Mardlichtuk babies, that is on a BitChute, okay. I think he's got 70-odd thousand subscribers. Derek Space Bros, but it's a Derek with a double R. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies, and he's banging as well, okay. I watched him on and off for many years, there we are. Okay, Mardlichtuk babies. So what's the point I'm making, Mardlichtuk babies? You've got all of these uploaders. You've got our lovely, not in that way, our lovely dear David Ark, his dear sons Gareth and Jamie, their dear friend Richard, okay. So you got davidark.com. I'll repeat again. You've got trending on iconic on YouTube, Mardelistic Babies. You've got iconic. Then you've got the separate names. So you got Gareth space Ike. Then you've got Jamie space Ike, and then you've got Richard space Willett. Okay, there's so many different channels now, Mardelistic Babies. There we are to get information. You got our lovely redacted who are on YouTube, where they're also on locals.com as well, and they're also on BitChute as well, Mardelistic Babies. So what's the point I'm making? Okay, we really now, there we are, got to start shifting, okay, because these mainstream, there we are not here for the goodness of our health, as we have very well found out over years, Mardelistic Babies, okay, and really for decades, okay, Mardelistic Babies. So I'm not going to say nothing more today. So once again, may that little Freddie the Frog, rest in peace, okay? And yeah, it's just, there we are, delicious to see. But getting, back to the hoax. As regards to the hoax, Mardelistic Babies, there's ones where they just refuse to believe. Okay, please remember as well, capital F, fakeologist, number 3. It's all together, Mardelistic Babies on YouTube, okay? They're up to, is it 873 subscribers, Mardelistic Babies. And of course, you see, the platforms that do not get all of the, let's just say, all of the traffic, okay, Mardelistic Babies. I'm not going to say for all, because you have got some banging uploaders who are larger platforms, okay? But what I'm saying is generally, okay, because what they're doing now, okay, is anybody who they feel, there we are, is a threat, okay, not physically, Mardelistic Babies, you know what I'm talking about, who they feel is a threat, okay, so any information, there we are, that gets out, anything I feel that, requires one, there we are, to use ding, ding, dong, dong, their noddles, you see what I mean, this is what they're not liking. Okay, Mardelistic Babies, okay, but this is delicious, okay, because now we're starting to see, but I'm going to get back to the hoax again. I keep overrunning my tail, old-fashioned Irish saying, what's the point I'm making? It's so delicious now, because what I'm seeing, okay, is where at one time uploaders, okay, they wouldn't dream that all of these hoaxes could happen, okay, but now, there we are, they're starting to see, okay. And I found they're absolutely delicious, you know what I mean? So, whereas at one time, ones would just, there we are, doom, doom, dong, dong, believe the bullshit. Do you see what I mean? Mardelistic Babies, well, now they're not. Do you see? Okay. So, and even with the Mexico one the other day, what my main concern was really was, I mean, why just burn cars for no reason? But the thing is, where if somebody's paid for only a short stay somewhere, why should they have to be paying X amount, ching, 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 pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change that for many, they do not have. Okay, so it's not like, they can just, have a bottomless pit of ka-ching, do you know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. So that was, there we are, my main concern. But I tell you straight away what I saw when it was the OXO, XXX, you know what I mean? I thought, hold on a minute. I thought I've mentioned the flipping OXO. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Anyway, I mentioned Mexico a long time back, Mardelistic Babies, but but you see it for what it is, and because more and more and more Mardelistic Babies, there we are waking up. There we are. There we are. They are really waking up to this shit. So because of that, Mardelistic Babies, okay, the fact of the matter is, right, they're losing. There we are. Swear down. There we are. They're losing this. And they know that. There we are. Because everything now is coming out in the open. There we are. Do you see what I mean? Okay. And what do we have when everything comes out in the open? Oh, the sun's out. The sun has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. Flip me. Decided to give us a bit of sunshine, Mardelistic Babies, anyway. So what happens when things start to come out in the open and, you cut through the bullshit, there we are, and you see these for what they damn well are, because everybody's getting exposed. You've got solicitors. Well, it's all in the name, isn't it, Martlichtuk babies? Solicitors. You see, you've got, well, in America, they call them born in the USA. They call them lawyers. You know what I mean? Martlichtuk babies. You see in all different types of professions, and we are for what they are. Do you know what I mean? You got our lovely not in that way, our lovely UK space column, okay, space news on YouTube, Martlichtuk babies, but they have their own site, UK column, okay, Martlichtuk babies, that you can also go and visit. They've got banging videos that we are on there, Martlichtuk babies, okay. So I just feel we're at this point, Martlichtuk babies, there is no excuse whatsoever for ones not to do their research, not to listen to other uploaders, okay, Martlichtuk babies. So I do not mean this nastily or bitchy. I'm just done saying it the way it is. There is absolutely no excuse now, okay? These are properly showing, there we are, the hand, isn't it? Okay, and it's not a very nice one. So unless everybody shifts from one place to another, okay, Martlichtuk babies, then let me tell you, we'll be well in the shot, okay? So that's not going to happen, okay? And it's like these large businesses and everything, there's many who do not even understand what they even get themselves into. They don't have a clue. Do you see what I mean? And for most of these, little minions, you know what I mean, okay? Little gremlins, okay? Martlichtuk babies who are all part of these institutions and establishments and so forth. Well, the fact of the matter is, all that they're thinking about is ka-ching, ching, ching, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, their jobs, you know what I mean? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? If they had to go out and get a normal job, no, because they seem to feel that they're too effing superior. Well, they're not superior, they're just being shown for the pieces of effing shat that they flipping really are. Do you see what I mean, Martlichtuk babies? There we are, and more are seeing it. And, so the way I see it is, what is this there we are going to take for ones there we are to see this? Do you see what I mean, Martlichtuk babies? Yes, okay. And of course, we're seeing more with that Charlie Cork's Pop the Cork. Is Mrs. Aren't we, Martlichtuk babies? The one with the fake tears. You know what I mean, Martlichtuk babies? We're seeing a lot more with that. We're seeing, what's his name? Dan Bongino. Yeah. Let me tell you, the scissors, not in that way. The scissors are really coming out, aren't they, Martlichtuk babies? Do you see how this rocks and rolls? Yes. I remember not so many years back, Martlichtuk babies, Dan Bongino, because I was never really into listening to his videos, okay? It's just my choice, I listened to a variety of different videos, and his were not really my cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Or a cup of tea, Martlichtuk babies, all the tea in China. But the fact of the matter is this, Martlichtuk babies, is that I remember when, what was he going through? Was he going through cancer or something at some point? Anyway, and at that point, he seemed to be, I think I must have seen one or two of his videos. I never watched them, like as in watched them, certainly not all the way through. I'd probably say about not even a quarter. But he seemed far more of what I would have said, a humble, there we are, man, okay, judging by his videos compared to how he's behaving now, Martlichtuk babies. But do you see when others rope others in? It's like a claw, isn't it, Martlichtuk babies? Do you know what I mean? But this is a rather large claw. Do you see what I mean, Martlichtuk babies? The kind, of course, once they're in it, they're never quite the same, are they, Martlichtuk babies? You know what I mean? And it was a very important point as well that Derek Bros, because he went on to our lovely Redacted that I listened to this morning, Martlichtuk babies, okay, because they're all banging channels. Anybody who I've mentioned, we are a banging channel as well. the point is, he was mentioning, like, say, ones could have mummies or daddies or relatives, who have worked for these such places, motherless little babies, and of course they're needing to learn the truth, which of course I know, there we are, long time. But it's so wonderful and delicious to hear somebody come out and say it, because they're having to learn as well. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so that's not myself being a bitch and a cow. What I'm just done saying is that when one see that, the mummies, the daddies, the relatives, whatever, they thought they were in powerful jobs. Well, I've got nothing across my shoulders, so that clearly means no. So at the end of the day, just to find that it wasn't really the case at all, my delicious little babies, and that must be a really, on an honest note, my delicious little babies, that must be a really hard, there we are, thing to come to terms with. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? It must be difficult. So I do feel sorry for anybody who's had families who have been there we are, part of this, okay? My delicious babies. But this is a part where, there we are, ones need to wake up, and smell a damn well coffee. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes. So that's all I want to say, my delicious babies. So, but my heart goes out, especially to genuine ones, you know what I mean? Who, if you're part of a family, there we are, then you get labelled, don't you? So my heart does go out there, because I suppose not everybody, they do not choose the life that they come into, do they? For most, you know what I mean? And of course, these who are supposed to be running our countries, my delicious babies, okay? Usually they've got their mummies, daddies, or family members, or whatever, who will get them through school, get them through, everything else now then. Do you know what I mean? Not realising, there we are, properly what this all entailed. As there we are, we've been seeing over many years, my delicious babies. It seems to myself that, which I've thought, there we are, long time, for decades, actually, when you really look at it. They're just taught to be born effing faced liars. Liar, 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 bums on fire. And the more lies, there we are, stumbled there, not changing my video, the more lies that they tell, and the more that there we are, they serve their masters. You see what I mean? Is the more ching, 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 ching. We're in the money. We're in the money. Do you say? But the consequence of that, my delicious little babies, there we are, is what you have to sell as a part of yourself. You know what I mean? So they walk around like the shark doesn't stink, little men, little women in little suits, okay? But look what they've had to sell. There we are. For them to be in those positions. And of course, when you see them all sat in this colossal room, I love little seals, it's a figure of speech, I'm not talking about those lovely little seals, okay? Clapping like seals. Thick as shit, man. Thick as effing shit. That is what they all are. And I will say it in my camera, and I couldn't give Figgler's F. That is what they are, okay? I've never seen such I don't like this word, but we have to use it occasionally, my delicious little babies. I've never seen such stupid bloody business in all my life. They're clapping for their own effing enslavement, my delicious little babies. Have you ever seen or heard anything like this now then? Do you know what I mean, okay? Give me somebody any day of the week. I mean, I did cleaning jobs, you know what I mean? So my daughters, even though I used to teach the English, their dad used to teach the maths, but, so for them to have private one-to-one tuition, do you know what I mean? My little babies, English and maths, but the fact of the matter is, it was just additional, do you know what I'm saying? I've said this before in my videos. But the fact of the matter is, my little babies, okay? I'll be absolutely flipping horrified. Give me somebody who does cleaning, hygienist. Give me a bin lady, a bin man, of course, not in that way. Give me a shopkeeper. There we are. Just give me somebody who grows food, okay, or someone who can sew and knit, okay? Give me one of those, a plumber, electrician, carpenter. Give me any one of those any day of the week, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean, okay? Because we live in the real world. What about the poor manners? You know, you have to look at all these things now, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But give us just your everyday. There we are, man and woman, who are not having to, you know, go on the pathetic little stages, you know, lie and bullshit to populations in the world, my delicious little babies, okay? Constantly lie to everybody, okay? And just be rather putrid and vile with it, and laugh at us, to do with taxes, to do with everything, my delicious little babies, okay? Well, it seems to myself that things are not going very well, are they, my delicious little babies? So what we're going to do, all of us, we're going to keep shining those lights, shining those lights, shining those lights. Okay, my delicious little babies. So until my next video, okay, please take care of yourselves now, my delicious little babies, and please try to take care of others, and sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, and how I love you also, okay? But yes, we really now need to ramp it up. They think they can ramp it up. There we are, we shall ramp it up. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? There we are, positive mental attitude at all times. That doesn't mean no, okay, my delicious little babies? And that's how it's going to go. There we are, from here on in. Okay, because we've got to keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those wheels rolling. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. Anyway, so much love. Thank you for any likes, for any views, the occasional comments. Okay, mind you, there's very few who can view my videos, but there's always somebody seeing and there's always somebody hearing. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love ya. Goodbye.